Just like at the Oktoberfest, the beer mugs.
Splash some of my coffee into yours and poison you. The Roman times.
That's how it started with, was it cheering?
Yeah. Is it cheersing or cheering? Cheersing. I don't know.
Well,
clanking glasses.
Clanking glasses, that's how it started, because there was lots of like poisoning people putting something in their drink. And so that's how they started to do this thing. And they did it more aggressively so that the liquids got mixed, so that if you have poison or the other one has poison, then you got it too. So that's how they made sure if you didn't want to cheers, whatever the word is, with them, then maybe you wanted to poison them, and then they know that it was you. Anyway, let's come back to Yoga Lifestyle 101, because that's what we are all here for.
And in today's video, we're talking about how to organize your tasks.
Let's put 2 minutes on the clock.
That one rings for a while.
It's a good one.
So over the years, Flo and I have developed and practiced and tried many different ways to organize our bajillions of tasks. And so these are the tips that we have for you, the best ways that we've found. So first thing is that we create task boards. So with that, we categorize our tasks based on priority. So A, B, and C. A is the highest priority. C is something that we want to get done, but it's not something that needs to be immediately finished. So A, B, and C, and then in progress and finished. So it's those 5 categories that we follow when it comes to tasks. Previously, before we had the electronic realm, we were doing it with Post-it notes. So each Post-it note would have a single task on it, and we would break down larger goals into smaller tasks so that they're achievable and attainable throughout your day. And we're
I
not.
still do that.
Yeah. Oh, with Post-it
I still
notes?
do Post-its. Yeah.
Oh, okay. At work. I guess we still have the board here too.
Yeah, at
Right.
work I do Post-its still.
So we do both Post-it and electronic. At my work, I do all electronic, no more Post-it notes, sadly, because I love the colors. But basically when we do it electronic, there's a few different tools that you can use, but the main one that we do is Google Keep. So it's basically an electronic tile Post-it board where you can slide the tiles around and reprioritize your list. So we have one board that's just A, one board that's B, and one that's C. And through that we can make sure that we stay on track throughout the day. So the process with the ABC board is that you start with your A tasks, and then once you feel like you've gotten a few of them done or caught up in the sense of anything that's super urgent, then you can switch over to B and C throughout your day. And as tasks gets done, you can move them over to the either in progress or finished complete to see a full day of all the things that you have finished. So that's the first thing that we recommend, is just brain dumping everything that you have on your mind into some sort of list, because as soon as you write it down, it gets out of your head and it frees up that space in your head so you can focus on other things, or not, just become more present throughout your day is really the best perk with that, getting it out of your head and onto paper.
So I do it a little bit differently with the tasks. When an idea comes up, and it happens many times throughout the day that I have some idea that comes up, something I want to do, I write it down into one list. So there's one keep list, I put everything in, I just dump it in there. And then whenever I have time, I take those tasks and then prioritize them into A, B, and C. And at work I do that mostly on a whiteboard wall with Post-its. So I have a table on the whiteboard, ABC, progress done, and put all the Post-its in there, and then I can move them around. And I keep separate lists for work and one for personal stuff, so it doesn't get mixed together and you feel like you have 100,000 tasks to do. So that there's a clear separation, because when I'm at work I do work stuff, when I'm at home or not at work I do personal stuff. So I usually pick a few items for the day, maybe 2 items from the A list, and then 1 from B and 1 from C, and then I work on those. I try to not overcommit and not pick out too many for the day, but only a few, maybe a handful, every morning for the current day. I pick those tasks and work on those. And then if I get done with those, then I can add more. If I don't get done with them, that's also fine, and I don't feel bad about it because I didn't overcommit to too many tasks.
And besides the brain dump of the ABC tasks that you have, the other thing that we found that works really well for us is doing an electronic calendar. So before, I used to be meticulous about writing everything down in a paper planner for years. I have like 10 of them in my storage bin, and when I would look back at something, I would try to reference something from a previous date. I would literally have to flip through pages and pages to find somebody's phone number, or to find an address, or a certain doctor I went to, or something that happened in the past, and it's incredibly time consuming to do that. So if you use an electronic calendar, you can do calendar blocking throughout your day so that it keeps you on track with what you have, but it also helps with duplicating invites. You don't have to create the same weekly invite. If you're doing the same thing every week, you go to the same physical class or yoga class or something, you don't have to write that in your planner every time. You can just create a recurring invite in the calendar. Just basically utilize technology in a way that it does the work for you. And when you use these electronic calendars, such as Google Calendar, or what is it, iCal for Apple, whatever calendaring system you use online, you can search within that. So that's also incredibly useful, to be able to use the search and spend less time trying to organize things and just let the system do it for you. So that's been a game changer for us, really. And when we first found out, I think it was the first time we met, and I found out that this guy used Google Calendar, I was like, okay, sold. It's really a game changer. So there's tons of tutorials and videos on how to use those systems. Just search electronic calendar or online calendar, and or Google Calendar, and you'll find what you need there. So
2018 style.
Yeah.
But we also know people, especially yoga teacher friends, that love to write their own calendar by hand, and they actually really enjoy carrying the calendar with them, how the paper feels, and using a pen and write in the calendar, so they really enjoy that too. Again, so whatever works for you, this is just what works for us. We like to use technology as much as we can to benefit our life, but not to control our life. Hopefully this was helpful for you and you got something out of it. Please leave a comment below if you have any ideas or want us to talk about anything else in this series. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because this really helps us to produce more videos like this, so we can keep posting every week at least once. We see you in the next video. Peace.
Bye.